Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Anthony Galati.
And as always, Steve Dagliaco. Hello.
Hello, guys. We've reached the end of our Christmas episodes.
Christmas time is here.
Yeah. I'm happy about it.
You're happy?
Well, I mean, at this time, Christmas is near. You know what I mean? Or just slightly past, depending on when this is released.
I get so excited the whole season, and after Christmas, I always get post-Christmas blues.
Really?
Yeah, like from the 26th to the 1st, I'm like,
You're a sad
man,
boy.
Christmas is gone. I have to wait another year.
A whole nother year. Yeah.
I love Christmas.
Do you
Like
think
New
we-
Year's? Does New
No.
Year's make up for it a little bit?
No, I don't like New Year's.
Really?
No, I find it depressing.
Sloppy.
You know, most people feel like they have a new beginning in New Year's, a new chance.
It's a holiday for drunkards.
He's not wrong.
Let the drunks and the pukes. You can have your New Year's. Harumph.
You should petition to have Christmas extended a week.
It's one day.
Shh.
I think.
Let him have this.
I think Christmas should be all year. I wish it was Christmas today.
Hey. I don't care what your mama says.
You buy any good gifts?
It's October. The recording is in October.
I'm gonna sip my cocoa
It's-
and pretend I didn't hear that.
It's December. We have Coke for Christmas. We spoke about this. This is why we're here.
Okay.
Brian got good gifts.
I did great Christmas shopping.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you get? Fucking Mr. Goodbar? Bite size to put in people's pails?
Yeah.
Did you go to Spirit Halloween? Did you get a costume?
I did caroling.
Did you go snow tubing?
It didn't snow. Hold on, wait. Let me cover myself. It snowed, so yeah. we had snow in December. I was able to tube.
Now we got options.
Yeah.
I've been shopping around for like wool things, wool items.
Very
Okay.
cold.
Yeah, because well, it's cold out. Did you know wool's really expensive?
Wool?
Wool, just wool.
Oh, you really have been looking for wool things?
Yeah. Well, it's Christmas.
Right.
It's cold. They're expensive.
Well, wool is a great insulator, I imagine, that you get some high-quality, warm clothes.
$60 for a
It's
shirt.
very
bro.
warm.
A wool sweater?
A wool sweater, $60.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can get cotton for half.
That's the fabric of our lives.
It is.
Christmas time. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
For you, the listener.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am excited
Even
because
if you
we're
don't
going to
celebrate
talk about
Christmas, you know.
yes.
I celebrate Christmas.
No, I said even if you don't,
For
if
all
you're
you
a listener,
non-celebrators out there,
you're
Fuck
still
you.
hopefully
welcome.
you can get something out of the film we're going to talk about
Yeah,
today.
you're still welcome.
because It is. I think it's a testament to the human spirit and the goodwill that all have.
So when I said before that I wish it was Christmas every day, it's not so much that like I want like the celebration every day and
You
all
want
that.
the feelings.
I like that feeling, and like I can't speak for everybody, and I'm not perfect, but
You, Brian?
No.
I know it's hard to believe, listeners. I am not perfect.
Well, last time you said that, bad things happened. So
I do try to be as giving and as helpful as possible always. I really do. I don't know if I always succeed, but I do try to live my life like Bill Murray at the end of Scrooged.
okay.
I do.
I don't think either of us are very familiar with Scrooged.
No,
I
I don't.
assume it's a Christmas Carol
it's-
story.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Scrooge.
It's
Live your
Scrooge,
best
yeah.
life. Be the most giving you can be.
Be giving and helpful.
Speaking of a Christmas
Charity's
Carol,
important.
Muppet best version?
Yes.
No, Scrooged.
Scrooge better than Muppets.
Dude, come on.
I love Scrooge.
How do we let this guy lead us?
You're right.
Jesus
I think
Christ.
it's the Muppets.
Now I took the Lord's name in vain. On a Christmas episode. I'm
You're getting
going to
smoked.
church. It's
You're
all right.
getting smoked.
Oh, you guys want to come to church Sunday? Because I got a lot of stuff. Ever since the Halloween thing, I've been a little haunted. So I think you guys want to come with me?
So we're talking about Joyeux Noel. And I'm sure the
Joyeux
audience,
Noel.
2005.
for the most part, is like, what the fuck is that?
Yes.
This is a French movie. And it has become a bit of a tradition at the Galati house to watch this every single year.
Really?
Yes. We've been watching it for like 3 years straight now.
It's
That's nice.
It's very nice. Yeah.
My wife and I love this movie.
It's also somewhat depressing.
There's sad moments, but I don't think it's a depressing movie.
How did you convince your wife to watch a French movie about World War One?
Well, you and I saw this
Years ago.
many years ago,
And I liked it a lot.
possibly when it came out.
It's probably a year or two later.
Right. And I remember liking it, but not getting a whole lot out of it. But over the years, I've kind of come to look at the Christmas Truce, the real event, as almost like a watershed moment.
In what regard?
Yeah.
I see it as the final
Countdown.
Thank you. I see it as the final act of the 19th century.
Okay.
And like it's the final like gasp of like old ideals of like honor and chivalry. And it's also kind of a religious type thing. The movie certainly touches on this a bit. It's like the universality of the Christian church in Europe. This is its last moment. It dies after this. And what's replaced it is this sort of Nietzschean nihilism. And I think it's demonstrably worse for the people that live there. That being said,
I don't think nihilism's cool,
no, nihilism's fucking terrible.
but I definitely think there's a stretch and a time period where nihilism was so cool
Yeah.
and so mainstream.
So it's right now.
but not just right now. I'm talking about like
95.
It's
Like,
it's like
our
every
entertainment.
Yeah, everything
is
post-war-
so hopeless.
everything post World War II. That's it. You know, it's like there's no unity among people anymore. And this is the end of it.
You would say that about the 50s?
Not in America, but in
Oh, not
Europe.
in America. in
Yeah.
Europe. Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's where I was a little confused too. Okay.
Yeah. The event, you know, it's been mythologized in recent years. Like for a long time, people did not think this actually happened.
Oh, really? It was in
Yeah.
dispute?
It was totally in dispute. It's
can
not
see why.
until I think it was like 1982.
Yeah, it was
or
recent.
something.
You could
Like,
see why, though. I mean, the story is pretty
it's incredible.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's also not forget that how people probably also didn't want to
I don't know if we
believe-
said we're talking about the Christmas Truce of 1914.
You mentioned the
World War-
Christmas Truce.
Right.
I guess explain what it is real quick in like one sentence. I'll do it.
can do
The
it.
Christmas Truce is basically the Allied and the Axis. Are they Axis?
the Central Power.
Central
Yeah.
Powers. So the Allies and the Central Powers, they're
Specifically Germany.
Germany in one area of the war.
No.
What
It's the whole front line.
it's one front line.
The movie makes
just-
it
it's
seem like
just-
it's one spot, but it's really
the whole front.
It's a organic happenings that are like very disorganized and like like sometimes the truce is literally just people yelling back and forth to each other Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's they literally get out of the trenches and hang out with each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes they befriend each other.
Sometimes they sing together.
Well, I'm just trying to give a brief thing.
Right.
Base.
They stop killing each other.
They stop killing each other on Christmas.
During
Yeah.
Christmas, there was a unwritten thing that happened amongst enemies where they just said, we're not going to fight each other today. Some of them abided by it. Some of them actually killed each other. But for the most part, the front line of this war was peaceful in general compared to what it was a day before.
and the day after.
And the day after, even up to the new year, some of them, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we're going to go over some of the things in this movie that are stretches, that are exaggerated, but not completely false.
Right.
Well, one thing that I want to say is like we're talking about why people couldn't believe this because 30 years after this, World War I and World War II are very different.
Yes.
World War II, there's so much more hatred in the war itself amongst the sides.
And it's not that's even a stretch for me. 1914 and 1915 are very different.
That's true.
You know, it's that close, the level of animosity that is grown. You know, in December of 1914, the war started in August. These people have not dealt with things like poison gas yet, which is going to become iconic. 1 million people are dead by the time this movie begins.
They
Which
thought
is
the war
insane.
was going to end soon. Most of them.
They thought they're going to be home by next Christmas.
It's
Before then.
It's conceivable to them at this point. The brutality of no man's land really hasn't made itself apparent the way it will. They haven't heard about things like the rape of Belgium, which is going to be broadcast by the Allied powers like crazy. This hatred on both sides hasn't taken hold of the common man yet, and it will.
Mm-hmm.
And would you say by World War II it's even worse?
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's so hard in a society post-World War II to imagine that there was a point where the soldiers stopped fighting.
To even fathom that
To
these enemies are real people.
And that's what I'm saying.
Right. In
Now, the rape
1981,
of Belgium.
In a second.
Wait,
In
there was-
1981, there was a documentary called "Peace in No Man's Land" that came out. Oh, I'm sorry. We make a joke.
I was gonna try to be funny on our comedy show.
Yeah.
I realized after I said it. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to say
I
it?
could fix it. A horse walks into no man's land.
Okay.
The commander says, "Why the long face?"
He's a horse.
The horse. Wait, I'm gonna tweak
You're
it.
gonna tweak it? Make this gold.
The horse walks into no man's land. Everyone looks and said, "Well, he's allowed to be there. He's not a man."
Bang.
That's good.
I
Right?
love it. I love
Saved.
I tell that in a trench. I'm the Jerry Seinfeld of the trenches. What's the deal with no man's land? Why don't we just send some
He's
horses
standing
up
on an
there?
ammo box doing this. Gets hit with a bullet. Helmet flies off. Like he doesn't die, but he gets all scared.
No man's land. Why don't I go send my wife out there to fight? Can I talk about the rape of the Belgian waffles?
Yes, go ahead.
The Belgian waffle.
After the rape of the Belgian waffles, it was a disaster. There was many subsets. We had protein waffles, Kodiak waffles.
They started adding things into the waffles.
Yep.
I'm glad I
Chocolate
stopped
chips,
you.
blueberries.
Blueberries.
Glad I stepped all over you.
It would have been good the first time. I had a track and you derailed me. At least I got to do my Seinfeld thing. That was good.
You might get derailed, but I'm the Chinese man working on those railroads.
So in 1981, there was a documentary called "Peace in No Man's Land" that really delved deep into
Pizza in no man's land? That's dangerous.
There weren't
Mamma
any
mia!
Italians
who
there.
delivered.
Yeah, there was no Italians there.
And Hitler, the courier, showed
Wait,
up.
now that would be a great pizza ad, right? So it's like a battlefield in World War I. Shit's blowing up. Man, what I wouldn't give for a slice. And the Noid rolls up.
Into the crater.
Yeah. Look, no bubbles.
Domino's
There's no
hat on.
Noids in your pizza.
So this thing really delved into the personal letters that were sent by guys on the
Yes.
field
Okay.
and first-hand accounts from guys, and that finally kind of made it mainstream and proved that this was an event that happened. So Joyeux Noel, what did you guys think?
Joyeux Noel.
Here we go again.
You got to say it right. Joyeux Noel.
It's joyeux.
Do we know?
Joyeux.
Joyeux. It's joyeux. It's joyeux.
Joy.
It's joyeux.
Joy Noel.
Joyeux.
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 Joy.
Joyeux.
Joy.
Joyeux.
Joyeux.
Joyeux. Now that everyone's turned off the
We
show.
need,
So infuriating.
we desperately need someone who speaks French to let us know what the fuck is the correct
Well, guys,
pronunciation.
it's
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well,
That's all
it's
it
time
is.
to
It's
give
Merry
you guys
Christmas.
your Christmas presents.
Oh.
I figured that I would get you guys something that would help you speak French.
Brian, why are you
So
crawling
I
under the
ordered-
table?
Muzzy.
I ordered you both sets of Muzzy VHS tapes.
Oh,
Now, I
thank
didn't
you.
provide you with VHSs, but I thought this would help you learn French.
Yes, that's French. Those podcasters are speaking, but they're not French. They're American. They've learned their amazing new language skill from the box art of Joyeux Noel.
Joyeux.
Jouet.
Joyeux. Joyeux.
So, real quick, can I tell you that I was trying to learn French a couple years ago?
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on Duolingo.
And you looked up Muzzy.
Not Muzzy. I was on Duolingo, but I would practice on the app all the time, working on my French.
What is Duolingo?
Duolingo is a free app.
Our sponsor.
Yeah, our sponsor today is Duolingo. Honestly, it's a cool app. It's completely
It is, yeah,
free,
it's cool.
and it teaches you foreign languages. And you play games on the app, and you speak into the app, and it judges your French.
It's fucking Muzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Muzzy, but a little better.
It's any language you want on your
I
phone.
guess Muzzy was onto something.
Any language you want on your phone, you could do it. And I was learning French, and my roommate said his like bedroom was right next to the bathroom, and he's like, I would be sleeping at 3 a.m. and he goes, I would just hear you taking a shit, speaking French,
Trying to pronounce
phone.
Joyeux Noel.
Joyeux Noel.
Why'd you give up?
I just got busy and lost interest. Le pomme homme du l'orange.
What does that mean?
I fucked up. Hold on. I think I'm trying to say the man eats the apple. I don't remember how to say it. Une vache, that means cow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, back to the these stories. Now, you said this was written and then people in the 1980s accepted, which is pretty fucking late.
They exposed it.
They accepted like this happened.
Right.
And then they started getting these letters and piecing together the whole story.
Yeah.
Right.
And there really isn't a story to piece together per se. It's just like random events that kind of organically happen, you know?
This is unheard of in war, though.
In modern war, for sure. Because
yeah.
think about it, it requires a situation where there's people
Proximity to each other.
close to each other for long periods of time.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the film?
It might be one of the greatest films I've ever watched.
You loved it.
Yeah, I my AKA is like good luck not crying because this touches you on,
It is a
on
tearjerker.
levels that are.
This is a tearjerker.
What part gets you?
There's two parts that I can say right off the bat.
I didn't like. I'm not bawling my eyes out, but there
No, you
are
feel.
moments where you get. Oh man, that is.
You feel.
I got
It's
choked.
beautiful.
I get choked up when he's singing on the battlefield, and
That
everyone's
scene
coming out.
is so brilliant.
Powerful.
That's the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it and we'll talk about
The
it.
prayer got me.
The prayer is
When
good.
they all in unison in Latin say the same thing, it's like, oh
Right.
my God, how do you
Right.
shoot someone after this?
Exactly.
You stood next to them doing the same belief you have. And we'll get into it. A lot of people didn't after that.
You never saw the movie before, right?
I did not see the movie. I never even heard of this movie.
Did you know what it was about?
So when you guys told me watch this, you told me about the Christmas Truce. And
I knew you were gonna love this.
Yeah, I so if there's one
It's
thing,
such a Beaver movie.
if there's one thing you know about me, I really like
Truces.
the
He has
truces.
a coffee table book, the big book of truces.
I just read it constantly.
It's called
Weeping.
Ceasefire.
I like a little more reality in my media. You know, I like real things and stuff that is. If you can make me feel something, portraying something, portraying a real story, in my book, that's perfect.
Did you watch this with your wife?
I watched this alone. If she watched this,
She would have been waterworks.
I would not be able to watch it because I just have to be like, are you okay? Because right off the bat, you get some amazing camera work
the
and
opening
transitions.
is so brilliant.
Well, before we
Holy
get
crap.
into the opening, you love this, right?
Love it. I adore this movie.
So, Steve, you loved it.
This is a love, yeah. This is love.
This is my second time seeing it. I haven't seen it in probably almost 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, 2005.
Maybe more.
2005, it came out.
Yeah. I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Really good movie. I recommend it a lot.
Yeah.
So, guys, go out, find it.
It's
Yeah.
free on Tubi.
I didn't know that. I paid for it.
Don't
I
have to pay
literally
for it.
sent a screen cap with the movie, and it says "Watch now on Tubi, free."
Free, yeah. You had to watch like 3 ads. They were 8 seconds each, and you're like, I can't do this. I got to give this person at least $5.
Let me tell you.
Why don't you buy the movie if you
Because I
watch this
watch this
yearly?
every year, I paid for it like 5 times now.
Oh my God.
Why don't you just buy it?
My wife said, "Why didn't you just buy it yesterday?" And I didn't buy it. I rented it.
I don't know why.
He likes to support, whoever
Whatevs.
he's supporting.
Do you have any other Christmas traditions with your wife?
Yeah, there's a couple of movies that have been we've watched. I never saw It's a Wonderful Life until we started going out. Never saw it before.
That movie makes me cry every year.
That's another tearjerker. But we've
Have you
watched
ever seen it,
We've
Steve?
watched it every year we've been together, so I guess that's on the list too.
I've never seen it.
Dude, you gotta watch that.
Yeah, I probably should.
It's one of the best movies ever.
I might have. And I
That
forgot,
is
though.
without a doubt. Like I confidently was, and I think millions of other people will say this too. It's one of the finest movies ever made.
For sure.
Yeah.
That end, if like it doesn't get you, you're not human.
Right.
All right, I'll watch it. I'll let you know if it gets me. But
It'll get them.
Oh
It'll
yeah.
get me. It'll get me. Just if you guys are that sure, yeah, you probably. You know
If
me
you
well.
have a pulse, it gets you.
Yeah.
All right, good.
No matter how many times you see it.
Yup. Every year I watch it like
I
multiple
honestly,
times.
I feel like this movie is the same. At least I could say that. If you
I
don't,
agree.
if you don't feel something from this movie,
You're dead.
You probably are dead. Yeah.
Did you do you watch? Have you seen that your whole life?
What?
It's a Wonderful Life.
I didn't see it until maybe like 10 years ago, and I watched it once. But as I've gotten older, I love it more.
It just hits harder and harder.
Dude, I feel like fucking George Bailey. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he won't get this, but like coming home, having that fucking banister.
That banister when he pulls
It's the
that,
most real thing I've ever seen in a fucking movie.
The first time I ever talked about this movie with you,
We mentioned that
we
right away.
both brought up the banister unprovoked.
Yup.
And how that moment when he pulls that stupid knob off the banister would have broken any man.
Yup.
Because it's just like on top of all the shit that he just went through, that thing breaks.
And you see him. And you know that feeling. Because you just want to fucking smash something too.
I can't wait to see this.
You gotta watch it.
Now I have to.
Yeah. Watch it with
can't believe we're
Alex.
just
Alex will ball.
Yeah,
Alice
nothing
will
gets
die.
me in
Alice
the-
won't make it through the movie.
No.
She'll die.
Nothing. She's probably seen it. She's probably seen it.
I
There's your chance.
don't think she's seen it.
No.
No.
All right.
Yeah, but I love that we're just talking about It's a Wonderful Life like it's this obscure thing that people don't know about.
Right. Well, I mean, I haven't seen it.
Well, it's Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
What better way to get me feeling in a joyous mood than a sad war movie and a sad It's a Wonderful Life, and we really know how to please our audience with good feelings.
Anyway, so
The opening of this movie is so good.
Holy crap.
it's colorized photos of the war.
No, I don't even mean that.
No.
Oh, the speech?
The speech.
Just the
Well, that's
openings.
great too.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this movie is in 3 languages.
Yes.
Everyone speaks their own. There's English, there's French, there's German.
Well, do Scottish people speak English? Because I can confidently say that wasn't
They
English.
definitely speak Scottish.
You didn't understand what they were saying?
It's a little garbled, you know.
Sometimes.
You guys got to watch subtitles.
No,
No.
you don't watch movies with subtitles. Just read a book if you want to do that. You're not getting the full visuals if you're reading. You're gonna miss little things. I'm telling you.
Now, I was able to understand them. I'm kind of just
Yeah, of
doing a
course.
bit. Was that McGloin, by the way?
It was McGloin.
Okay, I thought so.
Famous for telling people what kind of person is in the church.
Yes, in Gangs of New York. Finest fighter in the 5 points.
Fish hooked by a scrap.
Yep.
I believe he is in Titanic as well, isn't he?
I would have to go back. I don't know. I don't think
Even
so.
though we watched it last week? I'm not sure. He might be.
I don't think he is. I think you're getting it wrong.
I might be wrong.
Unless he's like working in the engine room.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of his Italian friend that gets shot. But
Yeah, that's not the same guy.
right, yeah.
But yeah, this movie we
So
get.
what do you think about the little kids giving the speech?
It's so good.
It's all the same
Holy
speech.
crap! Yeah, it's
Well, it's not. It's not.
It's slight differences,
It is.
but they're saying the same stuff.
I actually think they're real poems from each
Oh,
country.
okay.
So what you get to open the film is it starts in French, and you see a small child in the front of a schoolroom, and he's telling he's reciting a poem about the French nationalism and how they have to, avenge the defeats at Alsace-Lorraine. And then it transitions beautifully into a British kid in front of a map of the empire, and he's way more brutal than everybody else. And he's like, we need to kill every man, woman, and child in Germany so that we
Yes.
don't have to do it again.
don't
The
have-
Hun must be
Do
destroyed.
you think they had that? We don't have to do it again because we all know they're a problem 30 years after this?
No, this is like an
no,
attitude.
this is real.
Yeah.
No, I know this is an attitude, but I mean, they're kind of right.
They did have to fight this war again. But I think a prevailing attitude at the time would have been that this German Empire, which is only 40 years old, has been a problem since day one.
It's an upstart.
Yeah, it's incredibly hot, powerful, and aggressive.
Now, as we discussed when we did the Kingsman way back when,
Oh yeah, the last time we talked about the world,
Yes.
the Great War.
Yeah, the German kid,
The
when he
Kaiser.
speaks, they show how brutal they are too.
the Kaiser is related to the King of England.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're cousins.
They're cousins. And their other cousin is
Nicholas.
Nicholas, the Tsar of Russia.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the
German
and then
kid.
it transitions to a German kid who's also saying
Which, yeah,
that, but his is almost defensive.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. We have
His
to
is
defend
like-
our home.
We have to defend our home, and England is our great enemy who's going to kill us.
So I had to pause this and explain it to my wife.
Oh, really?
Because she's like, why is Germany saying that we need to defend? And I had to kind of explain the Alsace-Lorraine to her.
Yeah, well,
And it's kind of like the Ukraine situation.
every
in a
single
bit.
country is claiming to be aggrieved. You know, no one is aggressive in the war on paper, in their own mind. They're all defending their honor. They're all defending from these invaders.
Which is what they
Germany
show there.
Germany is invading France to defend itself from being invaded. You know, that's the Schlieffen plan.
they all do this. The kids. The point of that is they all do the same speech because they all think the same thing.
Exactly, and it's all just
Top down bullshit.
kill the enemy. They are inhuman. That's the
Yes.
main thing.
Yes.
They are not human. We must kill them.
And people listen.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, okay. My country's saying it. Let's do it. And we get introduced to some main characters.
Sad priest.
McGloin.
McGloin.
He knows what's coming.
Yeah, it's almost like he's
The boys are excited.
Well, why are they excited? Because
something is happening. This is exciting stuff. The country's
what?
going to war.
the country's going to war. I signed us all up.
Yeah.
And he goes, finally, something in our lives. And the priest is just horrified, like, you have no idea what you just signed up for.
He's less naive than the other. Well, he's
Because
obviously
young
older,
kids
you know.
are excited for bullshit.
And you wonder, has he seen combat before? We
It
don't-
seems
It
like
seems
it.
like
It
to
seems
have
like
that
it.
level of understanding at that point. Seems like he has. We don't get into.
He's
they
also
don't get-
older. You
yeah.
know, he's probably seen fucked up
Something,
vets.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But
Wars, the
Exactly.
Boer War.
also, let's like real quick as an aside away from the movie. There's a documentary which is fantastic.
I kept thinking about it.
Me too. They shall not grow old.
It's one of the best documentaries ever made.
So I believe Peter Jackson
Yes.
went and took a bunch of World War I photos and
Footage, yeah.
and he restored them all painstakingly into one of the best documentaries you will ever see in your life.
I'll never forget seeing that the first time in theaters. That I will never forget that moment my entire life, the reaction we had. When that first
When it opens up.
scene opens up and you see this destroyed footage that you can't really make out. It's black and white, it's slow, it's choppy, and you just see it colorized and you see these people.
The whole
real
theater
people.
gasped.
You hear,
Yeah.
I gasped.
So did I.
Like
I went,
we all
"Holy-" everybody
oh
went,
God.
holy shit.
Like you get you see them.
because they do it so well to play with you.
God, it's so
Because
good.
the first like 10, 15 minutes of the movie are in black and
Choppy,
white,
yeah.
and it's like the unrestored footage, and you hear this voiceover. The whole thing's voiceover. And then when they get to France,
The war starts.
it's like when Dorothy comes out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's in color, and it's like, whoa.
If you like
it's
World War I
stunningly
and you
beautiful.
like history
Just
and shit,
interested in things.
watch that documentary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The three of us cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah.
I saw it
It's-
twice.
Me too. Yeah, I saw it twice, yeah.
I saw it once.
I think I saw with you, and then I saw with you took me with Ray. I think
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
our
yeah.
friend Ray. Yeah.
So
Saying like people know him.
after McGloin, we go to Germany, and the opera singers are doing their thing,
Oh yeah.
and they're interrupted by the Kaiser.
Well, by
messed up the
a
show.
messenger. He comes
messenger.
out on the stage and announces that the country has declared war. And I love that they don't bother with the whole, why we're going with the. We don't have to talk about the Archduke,
It doesn't matter for the movie.
right?
It's not
about
important.
them,
Right.
I love this because they say 2 minutes to go on, and he walks out there, and you see this being spoken about, and you kind of know, yep, he's going to war, and the transition is so fantastic because it transitions to the front line, the guy in France, and it's like 2 minutes to leave, you have to go attack. And it's just
Right, we
so
get our three main
perfect.
characters.
Yeah. All have 2 minutes to do something.
Right. And then it cuts perfectly to the French guy who's about to launch an assault on the German lines. So we've actually gone from, the nations are declaring wars. Now we're
in war.
Yeah, we're not only in war, we're like months into the
They
war.
thrust you into it. Yeah.
And
He's fixing bayonets, and that's never a good order.
And well, he
Nothing
says
good
we're
comes from that.
100 meters away from being home for Christmas.
Yeah,
Right.
They think they're gonna
Basically, it's like if we can go kill these Germans in this trench, we're home. That's it.
win. And tragedy strikes.
right. Well,
That's what he's saying.
it's important for the movie to understand some of the logistics of the war if you're really going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, so the Germans have this thing called the Schlieffen Plan in 1914, and what that is they're going to bulldoze through Belgium, and
They love doing that, those Germans.
like a swinging door, the army is supposed to come down because they know that. All right, so the French battle doctrine is
Surrender.
no, it's attack. It's always attack, never defend at this point. They haven't gotten past this. They're thinking like 19th century people. And what they want to do, they're pissed off about Alsace-Lorraine, which the Germans have taken, the Franco-Prussian War.
Now, the Alsace-Lorraine, they are ethnically French there?
There's a lot of ethnic Germans.
They're ethnically German, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I
and
thought.
It was French
It
territory.
was French territory.
And in the Franco-Prussian War, the Germans took it and added it to the Reich, the German Empire.
So they already fought.
So they know, the Germans know, because the French have been screaming about this for 40
They're
years.
pissed.
That the first thing they're going to do is mass their army on the border and make a beeline for the Alsace-Lorraine and take it back. They've prepared for this. So what they're going to do is let them do it. Come in, you can take in. Meanwhile, the entire German army is going to sweep through Belgium and encircle the French from behind. So they're going to cut them off from France and just swallow them. They end up getting stopped by what's called the Miracle on the Marne. So the Marne is a river just east of Paris.
I remember that. That was when we had Greg here, and we won the gold medal. We beat the Russians on the Miracle on the Marne. We beat those commie bastards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Herb Brooks.
A combination of British rifles and French taxis.
Hockey sticks.
They stopped the Germans
They
on
had
the Marne.
Canadians there. Take this, eh?
So they stop them.
They stop them, and then they have this thing called the Race to the Sea, where the Allies and the Germans the Germans are trying to get around them. So they keep going north and north and north until they hit the ocean.
They're kind of just going parallel, whoever
Yeah.
get in front first.
And everything east of the German army at that point will be in German hands for the rest of the war. So this is all French territory. So you've got all these French villages that are now occupied and the civilians trapped behind them.
Which is what we see in the movie.
Which is what's important in the movie because we have the character.
Yes.
Most of our characters are actually from the territories that are now occupied.
Which makes sense because you want soldiers there who want to get back to their loved
Yes.
ones.
Yeah.
And it comes into play. Next guy we talk about, they have the battle scene.
Okay, so we
It's
get
so
our.
fast.
It's a really good battle scene. It's quick.
Yeah,
you
it's
could tell
messy.
this is a low budget movie.
Yes.
They're not concerned with battles. That's not the point.
There's
of
no
this.
sweeping shots.
It's quick. It's messy. It's good.
The point of this movie,
There's no paths of glory.
yeah, the point. It's not trying to do that. You
Right.
know, it's not 1917. It's not Private Ryan. It's like this is war shit. Here's some war, so you understand the stakes.
Right.
You see some death and you see some tactics.
And there's some machine gunning. And
Our
it's fun.
French
It's fun.
characters fall under some heavy machine gun fire. They jump in a trench thinking they're going to take it,
They're
and
forced
an
to
MG is just waiting for them and cuts down, I think, 3/4 of his men instantly.
And they're
and-
forced to retreat.
They have to retreat.
Now I have a stupid thought,
Okay.
Sure.
but I was watching. Did anyone try to dig tunnels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what it failed?
Oh, no, it worked.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
would tunnel into
Think
trenches.
back to
So what-
1917.
What they did,
I haven't seen it since 2017.
2019. What they did was this happened a lot. So after the stalemate of the Western Front,
Yeah.
they had to invent new shit. And eventually, what they found out worked was the tank and air power.
And
but
shotguns.
they tried other things too, and shotguns. they would tunnel under each other's trenches and plant mass amounts of explosives and try and blow them up from underneath without them ever knowing that they were down there. And what happened a lot is the miners would be trying to do it to each other, and they'd run into each other underground.
And they have to.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And
Do you know who was the best American soldier at that?
who?
I have his name.
You do.
Bugs Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
He kept making the wrong turn when he got to Albuquerque, though.
And he would end up at the trench. Nah, what's up, Dak?
There's actually one, I think it's the Battle of the Crater, it's called,
Okay.
where they actually fight in an exploded trench.
That's fucking cool.
Wow. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. But not in 1914.
Okay.
That's later.
But now the French retreat,
Yes.
and they're not the only ones who suffered casualties. I believe there was other
Scots too,
battles. The
yeah.
Scots. We see one of the main characters suffers a heavy loss.
And he kisses his brother on the lips.
Well, the
which
two
is,
guys we saw in the beginning.
Slightly
Yes.
homoerotic, but that's understandable.
That's his brother.
It's his brother. You know,
Now, you have a brother.
you kiss him on the lips.
Would you kiss him on the lips?
If he was dead?
No, I meant like.
No, in general.
He's like waiting for it.
Oh, of course.
He's like, come hither.
yeah. That goes without saying.
Like he's making advancements.
Kissing a relative on the lips is so weird.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I think Euros do that.
It works for
Yeah,
Tom
it's a
Brady.
Tom Brady thing.
Works for
You
him.
know, if I could win 7 Super Bowls, I'd kiss my kid on the lips.
Do you think that's how he won it?
He stole his
steals
kid's
the
youth.
kid's essence and youth.
That might be it.
Oh wow, that explains so much now.
He's sucking his youth out.
Yeah.
That's why he's so good at football.
And then his son turns into like Benjamin Button.
yeah.
His son is 130 years old.
It explains the cabal of pedophiles at Jeffrey Epstein so much.
That's what they're
Everything makes sense now.
They're all Bradyites.
But
So the priest tries to save a guy.
in no man's land, begging for his life. That is
Yeah.
a dangerous move because they know you're going to get fired at, and a flare goes off,
Well, they do get fired at.
and they get fired at, and one guy gets hit and almost killed.
He doesn't save the guy. He fails. And the Germans are told, stay vigilant.
Do we have this? Do we have the scene where the French lieutenant's commanding officer comes to visit him and kind of reprimands him for retreating? Did that happen?
I don't know if I wrote that down, but we could talk about it.
Yeah, well, it's we don't find out until the end of the movie who he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But,
You can kind of piece it together early,
yeah, you
though.
can.
Yeah.
And he kind of gives him some shit for retreating, and yeah, that's it really. And then we find out he lost his wallet, right? Or is
He
that-
lost his wallet in the trench. Yeah. You find it out later.
Yeah.
Oh, the Germans are told to stay vigilant. They lost a third of their men in that attack.
Yes.
And that's a heavy fucking loss.
Massive.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Now, the wife has a plot to,
Get to the front.
get to the front.
Oh, we have the scene at the
Well,
headquarters.
she doesn't want to get to the
Exactly.
front. She wants to get her guy back.
Her husband is behind enemy lines.
It was the opera singer from before.
And the Germans also have a plan to send Christmas trees
One-
to their soldiers.
100,000 Christmas trees to the front line, one to cover every 5 to 10
5 meters.
meters.
That's a lot of tree.
Yes, it is. I don't know
That's
where they got
the logistics of that. Even the commander says, like, it's going to take me longer to move these trees than it would take me tanks. And he's right.
So yeah, they got to deliver these Christmas trees, and the wife is like she wants to stage a recital
For the guy.
Yes.
for the crown prince for Ruprecht.
I thought it was a great performance.
He loved it.
Yeah. I thought she had a beautiful voice. What's his name? Ruprecht?
His name is Crown Prince Rupert. He is the heir to the German throne. He is the Kaiser's son.
Oh,
You want to do a
coming on up, huh?
nice little DNA test for you.
How do you spell his name?
Ruprecht. Ruprecht.
CHT.
Are you looking up a picture?
It's going to look exactly like him.
It would be amazing if the guy looks like me. There's 2 P's in that, by the
Oh,
way.
excuse me.
Holy shit, I may be related to this guy. Because the German name was the German name before my ancestors came here.
It's his first name.
I thought that was his last name.
No.
Oh, you're not related. You still might be. You still might
Let's hope.
back to the Schlieffenplan, a lot of people today blame him personally for the failure of the Schlieffenplan.
Ruprecht?
Yes. Because
That's not fair.
he was commanding troops that were scheduled, like the Schlieffenplan is so like mathematically thought out that they have timetables for like how many train wheels need to cross certain tracks at certain times. Like everything is meticulous.
Well, if
And
we know anything about the Germans, they're very
very meticulous.
Engineers.
meticulous. Yes.
They love their
keep
engineering.
excellent records.
He
That was a little DS9.
It was. It was.
he was watching the French as they entered Alsace-Lorraine and decided to, instead of going along with what he was supposed to do according to plan, he fired his artillery and slowed down where they were supposed to be. And
I
he
see.
actually engaged the French in battle. And
So they were about to get. They
and
got a little ahead.
people say, like, if his men were on time, like doing what they were supposed to be doing and not dead, they would have taken Paris or something crazy. You know?
That's such hindsight, though.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that, but it is something that's been brought up over the years,
Yeah.
especially by the Germans.
So we get.
They're looking for excuses.
We get the girl who asks for her man to come and perform, and his commanding officer is like, "No, that's not going to happen." And she's like, "Well, it's gonna because I got a letter from the crown prince." And I'm like,
From the Kaiser.
the Kaiser himself.
Yeah.
The prince is like, "Yeah, I want to hear some opera," and yeah,
He gets it.
he gets sent home for one
night.
day.
Well, not home. He gets sent to, like, the headquarters behind the lines.
You might as well be home compared to where you are in the trench. Yeah.
The trench. Yeah.
He gets to go do opera. The Scots get like
But
care
did you
packages.
notice the opera scene is actually interesting?
Yes.
Because he starts. Well, he first of
Well,
all,
it didn't happen yet.
they have this great moment where they go to the house and it's this French couple, these old French people's house.
Oh,
in the
it's so
mansion,
good.
And
You're skipping.
You're
ahead.
skipping too much.
Oh, am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're missing
You're
the
skipping a
haircut
lot.
scene because you see him getting ready to go to the opera, which cuts the French guy who's getting a haircut.
Yep.
Because from his local person, because he has lice, and he's like these damn lice, and he's cutting hair and stuff like that. Remember?
No, because the French people are on the German
That's
side.
no. You're
No,
missing.
no.
This is different.
The the Frenchman
The French lieutenant.
is getting his haircut,
Yeah.
and his barber is saying, "I just want to go home. I'm like an hour away."
Yeah.
And you really feel
I'm
like
talking about a different scene.
This scene is first.
this is first.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to say.
okay.
You always get the duality of the people. You know, like this is what the German person's doing. They're not so different from the French, and
Right.
which are not so different from the Scot.
But you skipped over the opera. I just want to.
no, that didn't happen.
No, it didn't
yet.
happen
Oh,
yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
I'm getting ahead.
You're
of you.
getting ahead.
ahead,
That's,
yes.
that's what we're trying to say. So the thing with the barber is,
This scene's fucking incredible.
well, when he's getting the haircut, it's a great scene, but also his real barber is going to be very upset he let another person cut his hair. You can't do that.
You cheat on him.
Why? Johnny Depp? You making me cry?
He making me cry. In general, though, I don't know if it's because of Seinfeld. Once I get a barber, I have to stick with them forever,
Really?
basically. Yeah.
I've always been so. I never told you guys this.
Okay.
So, I had long hair
Yep.
for all of my teenage years. Didn't cut my hair for like
Yeah.
5-6 years.
Yeah, it was long.
And I think that's the time in your life when you're supposed to like get acclimated to getting haircuts and develop a style and everything. And I just missed it. So at like age 20, I started having to get my hair cut. And I never I would always do it wrong. Like I went to this shitty place in the mall and
Yeah.
that didn't work. And then I started going to like this place called Great Clips, which is just like supercuts. It's just like bad. I didn't go to a proper barbershop. And then finally, I started going to this proper barbershop. And now I'm like a grown man. I'm like
Yeah.
28 years old, 27, 28. And I would get really uncomfortable because I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I wasn't like
Welcome?
on these. Yeah. Because you go to these barbershops and it's like they hang out and there's people like that know each other, and I don't know these people, and they're all like either Guidos or the place I started going to now, because the place I was going to closed, they're like Albanians, so it's like I'm totally out of the loop with them. But when I was going to the Guido place,
Were you in the loop with the Guidos?
no,
Because you
So
are
I'm,
one.
I'm Italian, but I'm not, Paulie D,
No,
Jersey
you're
Shore
not.
guy, which is what these guys were.
Yeah.
So I would go in and I'd act like one of them.
Oh, I would love to see
That's
this.
hysterical.
How did you act?
That's
I like,
hysterical.
hey, how you doing?
You really weren't doing this.
Yes, I would put on the voice involuntarily. I can't believe I did that. And I can't
You
believe
must have left and they would laugh at
I
you.
can't
No, they
I'm
probably
telling you
loved him.
this right
They were like, he's great.
And I come in and I don't look like that guy.
No, you have
like
long hair.
Yeah, I'm like, because I always wait.
Yo, let me get my cut,
I always wait
bro.
way too long to get a haircut. Like I get a haircut like every 2 months.
Yeah, like me, right? Yeah.
And I go in and I'd be like,
That's so good.
hey, short on the sides, a little longer on top. Right?
Yes.
You sound like a cartoon character.
Totally.
Oh, it's so good.
Embarrassing.
That's
it's so embarrassing.
good.
Thank God I stopped doing this.
Oh, I want
So
you to
what do
keep
you do
doing
now?
it.
Well, now I'm with people that like barely speak English.
So he tries to speak
And
Albanian.
I just go in and I'm like, yeah, give me what I need. Yeah, I'm a grown up.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But it took me a while to figure out how to act in the barbershop environment.
Wow, that's so good.
Now, didn't you used to carry around a picture of Keanu Reeves? And
That was when I first cut my hair. I had no idea like what styles were. Like they'd ask you go to the barbershop and they ask you like, you want a 2? I have no fucking clue what a 2 is. I still don't know.
Just millimeters.
And I would just, when I first cut my hair, I went to the barbershop with a picture of Keanu Reeves.
Oh, it's so good.
And I was like,
so good.
can you give me this? And then the next couple of times I went, I would show them the Keanu Reeves picture again.
so
I would
good.
just keep.
It's so good. And we would say, like, that's a nice
Now,
new Keanu.
how was your time in the Matrix? Did you like the steak?
It is juicy. And ignorance is bliss.
He is the one.
I knew you would like that.
That's so
That's
good.
good.
That's so good.
I'm so glad that came up. That was worth the detour.
Oh, yeah.
I will tell you, like, I've been to normal barbershops my whole life. Now, I didn't turn into a cartoon character, but I always hate, like, talking to them.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to these people.
I hate when they're cutting my hair and they're trying to talk to me. So, how you doing? What are you up to?
Yeah, like shut up.
Yeah, I've thought about a great idea would be like a barbershop that's like a library for quiet people. and you just go in and you get your cut. It's just silent,
Right.
sound of clippers. Like,
My friend would always lie to them. He'd tell them he was like a world traveler and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I just got back from Milan. Yeah. and the guy's like, really? What was that like? And he's like, oh yeah, it's great. See the port.
You have to go in there and act like you did something horrifying, like, right before. Like, stare, like, really intently at yourself in the mirror, like. So how you doing today?
You don't
What?
want to know.
What? Who wants to know? So yes, this haircut scene is incredible because it gives you a sense of how close to home that war
Right.
was for these people.
Yes.
And that's what it was. Like,
Specifically the French.
oh yeah. You feel
s-
for them.
the Scots pull a funny prank on their superior.
Hysterical.
Great scene. Yeah.
They make him walk into like shit.
Yes. And they shoot the
Shoot a
rifle
gun
and make
to
it
make
seem
him
like he's
stumble.
being fired upon. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets
yeah.
scared. They all laugh at him.
Now we have the opera.
So the opera singer goes to his commanding officer and is like, "Why do you hate me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I hate artists," basically.
He's like, I have no use for you.
Yes.
You're an artist. You're like, I like, working
Tradesman.
class,
Yeah.
salt of the earth people, and you're an artist. You're just useless to me in this trench.
And he's like, "Okay, then you hate me." So she has a rendezvous with her husband and they have sex.
And they go
Oh,
back
yeah.
to the German headquarters behind the lines.
So now we can talk about the people.
Right. So they have this moment where he goes into their house. The Germans have set up shop in this old French couple's mansion, and he's like, she walks in the room and she asks them like where the
Which
crown
way,
prince,
yeah.
and they like tell her to go fuck herself pretty much, and then they go have sex, yeah.
Yep.
But they have this opera scene, and I really like this because it shows his discontent for the people that have sent
He's so
them.
different.
Well, he's so different, and when he goes to perform, he can't do it looking at the Crown Prince.
He coughs.
He coughs, and he can't sing. And it's not until she grabs him and makes him focus on her
He's able
that
to
he's
do
able
it.
to
He's
do it.
able to find the love. It's a
Right,
great
yeah.
scene.
Yes.
So good.
Now, you were a singer yourself.
I was.
Did you ever like have a problem like that when you were singing? Like you looked into the crowd and saw like a fat cat, and you're like, I can't rock out with this guy here.
Definitely.
This like
wow.
guy smoking a cigar.
Yeah, there's always like record producers in the back, and they're just throwing money around and stinking up the joint and just acting like they own the world, man.
Real quick, while we're talking about you being a singer, didn't you do an entire show with a fake Finnish accent?
Yes, I did.
That's incredible.
Can you just give a little background?
Yeah. Oh my God. Why are you bringing this up? I
It
didn't.
just came up naturally. It's so funny.
So I was in a metal band, and we got rid of our guitar player. We fired him because he couldn't stay in key. But we all liked the guy, and we felt bad. So we rejoined another band with him. So we just reformed the band, but called it something else. So we had two bands now. And this guy loved power metal. So this was now a power metal band. We didn't want to play power metal before. We were a prog band.
Ah.
Now we're a power metal band in this new band. And at the time, one of the new exciting bands was Sonata Arctica. You may be familiar with them.
I like Sonata.
Good power metal band.
Yes, but they're from Finland. And it was really fun to talk in the Finnish accent like Tony Kakko from Sonata Arctica. So when we went on stage as this new band, I did the voice
The entire show,
the
right?
entire show.
Pretending to be Finnish.
Yes.
While being on Staten Island.
Yes.
Did anyone call you out on this?
No.
Oh, that's
But
good.
looking back, I was like, what the fuck did I just do?
And it's something once,
I was such a douche.
You were having fun.
but it's
You were having
something
fun.
once you start, you can't stop.
No.
Once you
Yeah, 'cause then
begin
you
the
look worse.
show
Yeah.
as a Finnish
You look
man.
worse.
Now I'm a Finnish man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were a showman. You became someone else.
Dude, I was such a tool as a teenager. Like, you don't even know.
You became someone else.
You know, one of my, like, I went to a talent show that I was not involved in, right? So, like, we go to a high school,
Yeah.
and, like, kids, they're like 14, 15 years old. They go up on stage and they perform. And this kid comes out on stage with an acoustic guitar, and he starts playing Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Now I'm fucking on the stage, or off the stage. I'm in the crowd, and I'm like, who the fuck does this kid think he is? He's going up on stage and playing Pink Floyd, and I'm not involved in this? I'm the Pink Floyd guy.
Oh my God.
I went up, and
It's
I got
another school too, right?
another school.
don't know this
Nobody
kid.
knows me. I don't know this
Random
kid.
fucking person.
I went and invaded his set like I was Mike Portnoy, and I fucking started singing the song better than he was, because that's who the fuck I am.
had to show him what's
I had
up.
to go show him up. I am such an, and I don't know how a person like even thinks like this.
It's just like,
Right?
I'm that good.
I'm that
Yeah, you had to show them how to do it.
right. Like what the fuck was I thinking? Later that night, get off stage, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself because I'm an ass. And I
You're
see,
like, I'm awesome.
yeah,
I
and
did better.
See these two girls sitting on bleachers, and I think they're kind of cute, so I'd like to go talk to them. And this was instant. This was God. God came down and smited me and gave me humility. Because I go over to the girls, and I lifted my leg to kind of climb up the bleachers.
Yes.
And my pants ripped at my crotch.
Did they say it?
Yeah, they watched the whole thing. Like I approached them, and as I stepped up, my pants shredded at my crotch. Now my underwear.
That's karma.
You're a cartoon character.
I'm a cartoon character. Yeah, I was a tool.
Now, The alpha.
How did you react after it ripped?
Pretended it didn't happen and walked away.
No, that's where the alpha move was to stand there with it ripped.
What do you think of this?
Yes, that's the alpha move. That's what you were supposed to do.
You go, we're halfway there already.
You say God punished you. God gave you a chance.
I was taught a valuable lesson that day.
Yeah, it seems like you were.
You stole that guy's set.
I stole a set, acted like it was mine. Can't believe it.
He didn't try to stop you.
No, he just kept playing. He's like, what is happening?
It's like parents are in attendance.
Random
He
person.
sold tickets.
Yeah.
His grandma's there to watch him.
Yep.
This fucking lug.
Asshole.
He comes
and then
up.
this oaf comes and takes over.
I'm here.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
me,
better than you.
Angie.
You can't sing.
You suck. Where do you get your balls playing this band? This is my band.
Do you know, like,
Stop.
you changed that guy's life forever, right? Like, he probably stopped performing. You know, like,
If
he
you
could have
ran
been one of the
into-
greats.
If you ran into a guy and he's like, years ago, you came up and did this at my...
When he assassinates me like he's fucking Nucky Thompson's murderer.
No. He just sees you and he confronts you about it.
I would apologize so fucking hard. Like,
I had a lot of hate in my heart for you. But damn it, I accept your apology. You guys hug it out.
nah, you got to be like, so you
It's-
still singing?
it's the spirit of the season.
It is. All right, let's get back to the movie. Amazing detour.
Where are we at?
We
They
meet
perform-
we meet Wilhelm.
No.
The
Ruprecht.
performance happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's like, I gotta go sing.
I got to
my
sing
men.
for the troops.
Yeah.
It just has to be done.
So he and she wants to go with him, and that's a little crazy, but they make it happen because she has a pass from the Kaiser. So they go down to the front lines, and they put on a show.
Well, the Scots start playing the bagpipes.
Yes.
Well, there was a gaffe before this, though.
A gaff.
Yeah. They talk about going to the front lines, and she's like, I want to go with you. He's like, no. And they say, oh, remember we met in Oslo? I don't think Oslo existed at this point. I think it was by another name. No, I think it was by another name.
No.
I read a fact about it. You can look it up.
She's also a Dane. She's not German in the movie.
They say they met in Oslo, like
Yeah.
the capital or something, and the capital wasn't Oslo at the time.
In Sweden?
It was like something with
Or
a
in
K.
Norway?
Something with a K, yeah. You can look it up.
Did they specify the capital? I know they say Oslo.
They stormed the Capitol.
A couple of Jan
Yeah.
6s. They stayed in between the velvet ropes.
I'm looking for what Steven...
It was Christiana.
Okay.
That was the
That was the
original.
so they say the capital?
Oslo was from 1924 on. It was Christiania from 1877 to 1924.
But Oslo existed.
But it wasn't called Oslo.
It's like if
No,
they called New Amsterdam New York City.
Yeah. They gaffed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I think it was Oslo
No,
and then
It wasn't.
became.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Christiania, and then it became Oslo in 24 after this, about 10 years after.
What made you look this up?
I don't remember.
Because this is not a factoid you knew
It is
offhand, right?
No, I did not know this offhand. I was looking up facts about the war at this point. And I have something say, oh, they met at the Oslo Zoo. And I'm like, oh, when did the Oslo Zoo come out? And I'm like, oh, shit, Oslo didn't exist at this time. I was going to do a joke about the zoo.
She said the zoo?
No.
Because that's my joke.
That's why I was going to say the joke. But when I looked it up, I'm like, Oslo didn't even fucking exist. Like, there wasn't an Oslo Zoo at this point. How did they meet?
Wow.
Been there?
You've been there? Well, yeah, that's a different story, though. But anyway, he's got to go sing for his boys. And they get to the trenches.
The Scots are playing the bagpipes.
They're playing it up.
They're playing Silent Night.
Meanwhile, the French have sent out a guy
A scout. Oh, that's
Scout.
great.
to go
Oh, yeah.
case the machine guns on the German
Yeah.
line in the dark. It's night. We should say it's night.
Yes. It's
I got
Christmas
chills.
Eve.
Yeah.
This is the first time I got chills in the movie.
Well, when they start singing?
When the Scots start playing and they all start singing, I was
Yeah.
like, oh boy,
Yeah.
this is incredible.
The Germans are clapping and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the opera singer joins in.
Well, he starts singing Silent Night.
Yes.
Well, they put the
And-
trees up, right?
They're listening to the Scots sing, and everybody claps.
Yeah.
Then in response, The German guy starts singing Silent Night, and he's obviously an opera singer.
It's amazing, yeah.
And
The Scots
the
join.
Scots start playing along on the bagpipes to what he's singing.
The priest, right?
Right. Yeah. And then when it's over, the priest starts playing Come All Ye Faithful, and the German guy sings it with him.
And brings a tree
And
over.
as he's singing, this is the best scene.
It's
This is
so
the best scene.
This is like the
movie.
moment,
Good.
like, holy fuck, what is going to happen? And he picks up the Christmas tree and he walks out into no man's land by himself.
The balls.
The fucking balls.
Fucking balls.
Yeah. All three sides erupt in like applause. Like they're just like
This is amazing.
they're in
I
awe
got so
by what
choked
guy
up
just
at this.
did. Yeah.
I got choked up at this. But
And-
I was almost tearing up.
This is the scene that choked me up.
Yeah.
And then
This moment's incredible.
the German officer runs into the middle of no man's land. He's like,
He's like,
"What?
get
the
out of
fuck?
here. You got to get out of here.
What are you doing?"
But by that point, he's lost control of the situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody is just like,
The power of good.
And now the other officers,
they have to join.
the French officer,
no one knows what to do. Right.
Yeah.
So they kind of just.
this is unprecedented.
Right. So everybody just kind of meanders out and is like, hi.
They have like a talk in no
right.
man's
Yeah,
land.
they have a conference.
They're like, we're
I
not going to fight today. And they're like, okay.
It's the Scottish guy and the German guy are talking to each other, and the French guy's off to the side. And he's like, "What? We're not invited." So they run out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they're not going to talk. We want in. And they get close, and you see they're all worried to do it, but
Because they know
do it
it's,
anyway.
They know it
I
would
love-
be considered treason.
I love
Yeah.
throughout.
And they could be shot.
Every single one.
I
of them.
love
Yeah.
throughout this too. They keep calling the Scottish English.
Yes,
And they hate that.
They go, "We're Scottish."
and they joke about it. you know?
Englishman.
It's a good running bit.
Yeah.
And then one of them says like, doesn't they say like, why are we fighting? Like, I think that there's a true story, like you're Anglo-Saxon, we're Anglo or something.
Oh yeah. Well, the English are Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
The Germanic.
Like, why are we even
peoples
fighting?
Invaded Britannia.
And then they start sharing things, which
Yeah.
They show their wife photos with each other.
they start kissing it and they're laughing and they share drinks.
Start joking around, right?
And one of them gives chocolate. And correct me if I'm wrong, that had meth in it.
What do you mean?
Didn't the chocolate have like amphetamines? The German chocolate in World War I and II?
I think that's the Second World War that they did.
Oh, it's not in World
they
War
used
I?
meth in lieu of morphine because morphine was
No, they would give chocolate to soldiers and make them like berserk and shit.
That's the Second World
That's
War.
the second? It's
Yeah.
not? Okay. So, I was wondering, like, did they just like make a bunch of Germans, like the Germans just made Frenchmen crazy and shit? Like,
One thing I do want to point out is that a lot of the fraternization that went on at this time was between the English and the Germans. The French, not so much. Because the Germans have invaded their country.
Yeah.
And there are people trapped behind the Germans. Like the French look at the Germans as fucking barbarians. you
as
know?
they should.
There's a lot of hatred there. And there's stories that came out afterward of like French women who would spit on the Englishmen for fraternizing. Like they're like, how dare you? You know, you don't have to deal with. They've invaded, and they even say this in the movie to a little bit. There's like a mention of it, like
Yes.
how like they're on our land, and we have to get rid of them. So yeah, there's that.
They say multiple times, like, you don't have to like invade us to visit, you know?
Yeah.
Which is,
Right.
When it's your home,
It's different.
it's different.
and now,
And also, we find out throughout this that like the main German lieutenant is married to a French woman. We
Yes.
find that out later.
and he's Jewish.
We find out he's Jewish.
yes.
It's just like, oh, damn. Like, it's so all encompassing that it's hard to even fathom being in that situation.
Yeah.
It really is. Even if that's slightly exaggerated or not. Like, and
Well, the whole movie is like they take everything and then put it in this microcosm.
yes.
You know, it's a much bigger thing, and they're putting all the elements into this one spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Overwhelming.
Right.
But we get now.
Well, the guy gets his wallet back,
Yeah.
Yeah, he had lost his wallet in the attack, the French guy.
The German
And the
saved it.
German has it
and he's like, "Hey, my wife is pregnant. Like, she's at this hotel that we own."
behind the
I
line.
stayed,
Behind
at,
the
I stayed at
lines.
that hotel. That's what he says. And it's like, oh my
He stayed
God.
there on his
man.
honeymoon.
And it just goes to show you like how close they all
Close,
are.
yeah.
Like there's no reason to be fighting.
They all invited each other
All-
to each other's houses after the war.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Right.
Well, they think it's going to end soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're busting each other's balls about like the situation.
Yeah. And
You get the best mass.
the popular like mythos of the war is like that these men are lions led by donkeys. And it's reinforcing this thing that like our betters have sent us here to die.
Yes.
We have no reason to be fighting each other.
It's such a pointless fucking war.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, all wars are pointless, but if there was ever a pointless fucking war,
With devastating
one.
consequences,
It's
it's this one. Yeah.
that reverberate for hundreds of years.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Still to this day,
Right.
realistically. You get the best mass probably ever held, ever. And I think he even, the priest says it in the movie.
says it at the end,
It's the most important mass of his life. And
He just has a mass in the middle of no
this
man's
got me.
land.
This got me bad.
It's a great scene.
And everybody is unified in that.
Yeah.
You
They all give the same answer in Latin.
They
And it's
all
like,
know what to do. And I think that's what I was getting at earlier, as far as like the unifying force of the faith
Yeah.
that's just gone.
Yeah. In most regards, yeah. Which is shocking there's not more chaotic war with that removed, There's still war, but like we're considered in the Great Peace, right?
The long piece.
The long peace.
Yeah.
So it's pretty shocking when you remove that, you're still in a time of peace, but, time will tell.
Right. And there's other things to that, like everybody knows a little bit of Latin because every school is teaching Latin.
Right.
No one does that anymore.
They all speak multiple languages. They all speak a little bit of German, a little bit of English, a little bit of
that
French.
still exists
That's
in
a Europe thing. Yeah.
because you're so close to each other.
Even when you get to the border
the
of
bilingual
here.
stuff.
Yeah.
Even when you get to the borders of here, you go south, more people speak Spanish. You go north, more people speak French. So
There's like this reverence for the classics that had existed at the time. That's just like everybody is on the same page with certain things. And we've done away with a lot of that in modern society. And that's the point I was trying to make earlier. And I was doing a bad job of.
still a valid point, though.
Right.
But in this movie now, they agree, let's give some time. Let's just continue the peace for another day.
Yeah.
Like, not just tonight. Let's continue another day. Let's bury our dead.
Well, that's not what happens. So there's after the midnight mass, bombs start going off in the background, and they're like, "Okay, time to go back."
to go back to our
And they
trenches.
retreat to their trenches, and they're like, "Tomorrow we'll resume."
Right.
And they're awoken in the morning by a sound, and it's a guy chopping on the middle of no man's land,
Yes.
and it's the dude trying to dig out his brother.
Right.
He's burying his brother.
He's trying to.
He's
but
burying it.
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
He's having a hard time.
I thought he was burying his grave.
No, he's trying to thaw him out of the ice.
He's trying to like get him out of the ice.
Oh, he's trying to get him out. Yeah. It's hard to tell. It's smoky.
Right.
So then they have another truce.
And they're like nobody really knows what to do. Like the Germans don't know, should we shoot this guy?
Right.
And the
commanders
the
go
Scottish
out.
guys like, come back, please come back, and he's not listening. And then they have to go out, and then
Commanders meet in the middle and
Right.
say, like, let's just bury our dead. It's Christmas. Let's just do this. And you get the infamous stuff that happens after.
yeah,
and the wife sings.
The infamous football game. Soccer. For the English people here.
I remember when we first watched this way back when.
Yeah.
Brian and I were like, when are they going to play soccer?
Yeah.
They're going to have the soccer game.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Who won? Do you know?
Yes, I do.
Germans.
They
Germans
did.
won
They
3-2.
fucked them up
They
because
did.
they were actually
Uh-huh.
like pro players from like their local village.
Yeah.
So I actually heard a guy who was there talk about this football game.
Okay.
He said he was in the 6th Cheshire Regiment of the Brits. And he says that it was a very informal game. Somebody produced just a football from out of nowhere. They didn't know where it came from. And hundreds of guys were just having a kick at it and like trying to score on each other. And there's like no organization. Everybody's just fucking around. But by the end of it, the Germans are said to have won 3-2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
And it's another thing added, like, oh, look, we also play the same sports. Like,
Yeah.
we're there's
There's so much more that connects them than divides them.
Yes, exactly.
Regular people have so much more in common, and like governments are really the reason most bad shit happens. Like most people
point.
wouldn't start wars.
Right.
You know, it's someone in charge for whatever reasons and designs they have sees fit that a war must happen.
Right.
So you must go fight in it.
Yeah.
And now we get
And at least with certain wars, it's like someone doesn't have something and is trying to acquire it. That's not the case with this one.
No.
Like, nobody's wanting for anything. It's just like, let's kill each other. Okay.
I think that they didn't anticipate how brutal the new technology was going to be.
Oh, definitely.
They
not.
thought it would be like their other wars.
They thought it would be quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One side would just be like, all right, I'll stop, and then never did.
So now we find out the German lieutenant is Jewish, and he goes up to the girl singing, and he's like, I will never forget the way you sung. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Christmas means nothing to me, but
I will never
great."
forget this night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So they're like, there's going to be no hostilities on the German side tonight. It's Christmas. We're good.
They say, how are you getting back? And
Well, she wants him.
she wants back.
She wants her husband. Are they married?
Yes.
Did they ever say it?
Yeah,
I
it's her
think
husband.
so,
They say
yeah.
it.
She wants her husband to escape with her to Holland.
Yes.
And that's just out of the question.
You can't do it.
It's too far.
He's like, I'm not leaving.
And he's not leaving his men. So then she suggests that they just fall behind the French line and just disappear into France somewhere. And he doesn't want to do that either. But then he finds out that Ruprecht has been looking for him.
And he's going to be
disappeared.
arrested.
And he's going to be arrested for like desertion or but mainly insulting the prince.
Yeah.
And he would end up going to jail for 2 weeks, he said.
And his higher up says, well, I didn't see you for 2 weeks. You left. You fled. So he gives him a chance to leave.
Yeah.
And he goes, go over to the French line.
He's grown to respect him.
Go as a prisoner and, enjoy your life if you can.
And now we get another scene where
This is amazing.
this is great. So they're both back in their trenches. They're getting ready to fight. And they get like flags waved. And basically they're like, yo,
We just got worse.
word, you're going to be
Yes.
shelled. Come
Yep.
over.
Yeah.
So the Allied soldiers, they all go into the German
German
trench
trench.
while it's bombed.
They're pissed because they got to rebuild it.
They're like, hey, we're probably going to shell you back. Come with us.
Yeah, and they switch sides.
They switch
yes.
sides.
Now, this scene, while it is hilarious and cool, it's the most far-fetched thing in the movie. There's no way that
That's what I
anything
wanted
close
to talk
this
about.
even
Yes,
happened.
there is. I want to
What?
talk about that.
You
Yes.
found something?
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
This is exciting.
Let's go.
So, the Fusiliers,
Royal Fusiliers.
Royal Fusiliers,
Company Z.
get an order. They were ordered to fire on a farmhouse.
Okay.
And the commander, Drummond, knew that the Germans gathered there for coffee every morning, which is why they were told to fire. He goes over to the line, says, by the way, we're about to fire on that farmhouse. Don't go in it.
No shit.
They don't go in it. That's where they got this from. They leave the farmhouse. They watch them leave. They shoot the empty farmhouse.
Just blow it up.
They take the order. They blow it up. No Germans were killed.
Wow.
How sick is that? That's where they got it from.
And you can begin to see why the higher-ups don't want this shit going on.
And
This
now-
is not good.
yeah.
now, that being the artillery thing is comical and it's over-exaggerated.
It's a good moment.
But it's not far-fetched. You know
I
what
guess
I mean?
not. I mean, that is pretty close to what
That's
the movie portrays.
crazy.
And the reason it really happens is so that they can get the the German soldier, the opera
Behind-
singer,
yeah.
behind enemy lines so he can escape
That's why it happens in the movie.
into France.
Yes.
That's why it happens in the movie.
And it's done so well.
Now, this is where we get the tragic scene
Yeah.
where the superiors have found out.
Major's coming.
There's a guy. His name is Horace Smith Darien. He was a general in the British Army.
Well, real quick, let's talk about how they found out in the movie. These fucking snitches.
Yep.
They're like the idiots posting about shit on social media.
they wrote letters.
They wrote letters. Keep your fucking mouth shut. You got a good thing going. You opened your fucking mouths.
Yeah.
You just had to tell your wife.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
We just may be here the rest of the war not fighting. This is great.
Yeah. So all of their mail is monitored by the higher ups. Nothing goes.
Also, all the males are behind the front lines.
They also give each other the mail to send out.
Yes.
Like they switch like
Yeah.
postmates.
Suddenly there's German letters like going through
France and France letters going through Germany. So at some point it's gonna get picked up.
Right.
But this major, the commander or general, I think it was general. And this is
the guy I was about to bring
the
up?
Scottish guy. He was at the front line before.
Yes.
So
He's the one who was pranked.
He
They
came
built
back.
him as an asshole early.
he came back, and that's when tragedy struck.
Right. So there was a guy, the real guy, Horace Smith Darien, He has a quote that says, trench warfare does this, he says. Like the actual, like the style of fighting itself lends itself to this. He says it causes a slide into a live and let live mentality, and it's the greatest threat to morale. So he issued specific orders against fraternization. So he said, like, if anybody is caught doing any kind of fraternization, he wants them punished. Now, officially, the British have never punished anyone for what went on Christmas.
Okay.
But they were on the lookout for it and made sure that nothing like this would ever happen again.
If something like this was to happen, they're like moving you somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Where
and
you're
you see that
basically
happen.
fucked.
Yeah, you see that happen to the Germans at the end, sadly.
But yeah, well, go ahead. What were you gonna get? You were gonna get into it.
What?
What with the guy? What he does?
Oh, well, he comes back and he's like yelling at them. He hates that all this shit happened. And there's one German crossing over, and everyone's looking at him. No one wants to shoot him.
Yep.
The clock.
Yeah. So the barber, the guy who was cutting the French guy's hair earlier in the movie, there's a whole thing about how this makes my wife cry her eyes out.
I almost cried.
There's a whole thing that he has a tradition. He's got this alarm clock, and every morning at 10 a.m. it goes off, and everybody hears it, all sides, and they comment on it.
They get pissed.
So they finally asked the French guy, why does he do that? And he said that every day at 10 a.m. he goes and he has coffee with his mother at 10 a.m. And he didn't want to forget that, so he set the alarm clock to do that every day. He doesn't get to do it now, obviously, because he's in a fucking trench. Go ahead.
While they were fighting, he went behind enemy lines.
Right, we don't see it.
We don't
Dressed
see
as a
it.
German.
Dressed as a German, so he could sneak into town, see his mother, and have coffee. When he comes back, we don't know it yet. He's dressed as a German.
He's trying to cross no
He's
man's
trying
land.
to cross no man's land, and no one's shooting at him.
Right.
And the person whose brother was shot shoots him.
Right.
And at this moment, everyone's looking, and they run over to him.
And the alarm clock goes.
The alarm clock goes off, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's the guy!"
Yeah.
And they run over to his body,
French
and they're
lieutenant's
like,
just in tears.
And he finds out that he visited his wife and son on
has
the
a
other
son.
side.
"He's like, you have a son, Henry.
Yeah.
I had coffee with my mother."
Henri. Yep.
It's heartbreaking. It's
It is brutal.
heartbreaking. And you're like, no. Why did you make it worse? Because
then-
oh man, it's
The fighting commences
so
again.
good.
They're fighting
Just
again.
the war resumes.
The priest is sent back to Scotland.
Yes.
And
He's punished.
And he's replaced with a more brutal priest, and he gives up the church and leaves.
Right. And this is symbolic. He takes his cross off and he just leaves it.
And the current priest is like, Germans are the enemies
Yep.
of God.
Fire and brimstone. The
Kill
sword of
them
God.
all.
This is a conflict for the existence of civilization.
Yep.
And it's all just like, fuck you.
Yep. The Germans are yelled at.
Yep.
They
They're
get put on a
punished.
plane,
A train.
a train out east by Ruprecht.
They're
He
against-
comes in, and there's this great moment where everyone is taller than him. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I didn't catch
He
that.
has to look up to them.
Yeah.
That's
and he's
funny.
like this little fucking guy, and they don't. No one respects him anymore.
Yeah.
And he smashes their harmonica.
And I think he has a line to the guy, the lieutenant,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bruhl. He also plays Baron Zemo in Marvel for the Marvel shit. He's a Marvel villain.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's a
Yeah.
fantastic actor.
He's a good actor, and he's also in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, is he
Oh,
German?
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's a good actor, but he's like, I have more in common with the men on the other side of the trench than you. He's like, we have nothing in common with you.
Yeah.
You aristocratic fuck.
And then he sends him out to Russia.
Sends him out
Yup,
to
to
Russia
die.
to fight in the most brutal conditions and die.
Well, there's one more, even more brutal moment, because where do the French get sent?
Where?
Verdun.
We're done. They both get fucked. Yeah, they arrested a cat for treason.
Oh, Felix /
They
Nesta.
arrested Felix for treason for fraternizing with the Germans.
Yeah.
That poor cat. I gotta say though, this movie.
Oh, well, here's the final moment, which is uplifting. They smash the Germans' harmonicas, They don't want them to like sing or have fun on the train, and they just start humming loudly together in unison,
Still
and it's
sing.
just a fuck you,
It's a fuck you. Yeah.
to high command, and the train pulls away and the movie ends.
It takes so much fucking balls to humanize Germans in any
You can
World
do
War
it in
movie.
World War One.
It's just, it takes balls. You can do it, but it still takes balls to actually show people.
Now, World War One, it's been done since on All Quiet on the Western Front.
that was the deal from Jump with that movie, Play before that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that
Still
came out
takes
like
balls, in my
1919.
opinion.
World War One, it's easy to do from the German perspective. I wanted to ask you guys: do you have any? Were your relatives in World War One?
My grandfather fought for the Italians. My great grandfather fought for the Italians,
Okay.
and my other great grandfather was on the British side. So yes, I do.
So World War One, I don't know. I don't think so. I have World War Two.
I have my great grandfather told a story. He was a cook in the Italian army. I imagine he's probably at like Vittorio Vento. and
Didn't
stuff.
he give everyone food poisoning, and they were all throwing up?
And then the music from Platoon started playing.
He said he would never cook again.
He said, this is how it was described to me by like my uncle. He said that he told him that they went, and when they ran out of food, they ate the horses, and when they ran out of horses, they went home. This is interesting because the Italian army famously mutinied and went home. So he may not be that far up.
So, the earliest record I have back of my last name that I know of is in Chicago in like 1910, 1912. So you know what they were doing. My last name might be completely made up for all I know. I have relatives in
Just
Sicily.
throw a bunch of shit together that sounds Italian.
I have some relatives in like distant relatives in Sicily who contacted us through Facebook, but they speak Italian. We speak English. This was before translators were there, and I had no idea what they were saying, so we just stopped even trying.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I could probably contact them nowadays and translate some stuff.
But yeah, my British great grandfather, he got gassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know about my father's side, but I know on my mother's side, one of her grandfather, one of them fought in World War I for sure and was hit with gas.
Americans?
Yeah, so he was a European immigrant, came to America when the war was breaking out to get away. And they're like,
God.
hey, guess what?
You got drafted?
You're fucking going back.
Oh, that sucks.
And he had to go back to Europe to fight.
That sucks.
And he fought.
Made it.
He got injured, got hit with gas. I think he may have had a Richard Harrow thing.
Really?
I think he may have. But he
There's
definitely
a whole house.
he definitely got gassed and was all fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah. You're going to have permanent lung issues for the rest of your life with that.
That's it, guys.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
There's
So, Merry
one
Christmas,
little
jeez.
last bit of business.
Oh, yes, the picture.
Oh,
The picture.
yes.
Well, 2 bits. We got to do ratings too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all know what we're rating this. It's not that hard to figure out.
This is the simplest drawing he's ever done.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
What's it look like?
It's 3 men. They are stick figures. One of whom has an Indian feather.
No, that's his German spike.
Ah, the pickle helm. And they're kicking a ball. So it's the soccer game.
The spike is called a pickle helm.
Yeah.
I thought it was called the German butt plug of pleasure.
Oh, okay. That's close. Now, that helm, was that like just for weapon purposes?
No.
No, is it they need to
completely
sexually
ornamental.
satisfy
Just
themselves.
ornamental?
If it has any practical use, it's to deflect a cavalry saber.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you rate it, guys?
10 out of 10. Incredible movie.
1914 out of 10. I would give it a 20 out of 10, 100 out of 10.
Loved
I
it.
cannot recommend this movie more. I really
Two
can't.
perfect scores.
Brian?
I'm going to be the Debbie Downer. I'm giving it an 8.
8.
Still a good rating.
Yeah. Good.
Very good movie.
Very
No
respectable.
complaints.
Yeah.
That's it, guys.
Yeah, that was
That's it.
that was Christmas. That's this year.
Is that the year?
That's the year.
Nope, we got one episode left
What?
this year.
What?
We have
Oh, we have a pick.
a pick episode coming next week where we will pick January,
All right,
that's going to be video.
It is?
Oh, we're doing
I think
video
that,
pick.
I think that should be video. Yeah,
Okay.
to start.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Wow.
So
People are going to see us, and then they're not going to.
So what you're saying is this is a close to the first chapter of this program.
yes,
What can you say? It's been quite a ride.
I love doing the show.
Oh yeah, we're going to keep.
Show's
going.
a lot of fun.
gonna keep
Show
going.
is great. I love doing it with you guys.
I'm very proud of it, honestly.
I'm proud of the show. I'm proud of us.
We grew.
I'm very thankful for the listeners.
Thank you. Yes.
The listeners have been wonderful. At this point of recording this, no one has told us we sucked yet. I'm sure that'll change after I just said that out loud.
Yep.
But
Are you fucking serious? You expect us to watch a fucking French movie?
I'm logging into my fake account right now to tell you.
it's been wonderful. And obviously, we've been very privileged to use the studio we're in and all this. And I'm happy to keep on doing it.
Yep.
Oh,
Bigger
yeah.
and better things are on the horizon. The video, I think, will allow us to expand and do interesting things,
Yeah.
like special bonus episodes and things like that.
There's things, there's ideas in the works.
Yeah.
There's nothing's being planned actively at the moment, but we have ideas.
It
don't wanna-
opens options up beyond just audio.
Don't want to give away too much, but there might be a giant green screen behind us, so we can have fun.
All right, guys.
Happy New Year, guys.
Well, no, next
No, 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 no.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas is good.
Merry Christmas is
Merry
fun.
Christmas, happy
This is coming
holidays.
out-
Happy holidays.
If you don't celebrate Christmas, we still love you.
Yes.
Thank you
It's
for
the
listening so
holiday
much.
Season. Hoop-dee-doo.
Got a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Ready?
What?
I know. I'm getting ready to do my final wrap up.
Oh, I thought you.
I thought he was getting emotional
Yeah.
just to
I'm weeping.
weeping after all this.
Ready? Want to thank you all for listening us. Want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Lannis, Record here. Thank you all for listening so much. It really means a lot to us. If you want to email the show, you can email us reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Follow us on Instagram, Reviewing History Pod, Facebook, Reviewing History, Twitter, RView History Pod. Follow me on all social media at Brian Rupert. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank or review every single movie I watch. Thank you all for listening. Have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy the day. Even if you don't celebrate, just be nice that day and take the time to really put out good cheer into the world. Thank you all for listening. I know I'm a cornball. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
I thought that you were one. Boom, 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 boom.
Seen it 10 times before.
Ba-dum, dum, 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 dum.
I thought that you had it all.
Ba-dum, dum, 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 dum.
With both your feet on the ground.
Ba-dum, dum, dum.
I love slow, slow but deep.
Well, I know what I'm putting at the end of the episode.
Faint affection wash over me.
What song is that?
The ubiquitous Mr. Lovegrove.
By who?
Build me up and you knock me down. Play the fool while I play the clown. Keep trying. What'd he say?
The Islanders are kicking the Rangers' ass.
Oh,
All right. Ready?
That was Dead Contents.
I don't believe you anymore.
Okay.
I don't believe you anymore. Oh, wait, are we recording?
Yep.
You probably should have said that.
I'm putting that at the end of the episode.
All right. We might get hired.
Ants on tour with Dead Can Dance.
Sitting there like this.
They're making him wear skinny jeans. Put on the eyeliner. No.
He'd say yes. You kidding me?
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.